So, I have exciting news. I am going to be a grandma. My precious little baby girl, Bianca, is all grown up and she's going to have a little boy of her own. Isn't he adorable? Bianca and Eric, first of all, I'm so happy that you're able to be here tonight. And next, I don't want to scare you, but your lives will never be the same again. Parenting is probably one of the most rewarding and challenging journeys you will ever embark on. I know it has been for me. Like all new phases of life, you're going to get lots of conflicting advice and you're going to have tons of questions. As your mom, I want to protect you from people who have really good intentions, but who give you bad advice. As a scientist in early child development, I want to share exciting research that I think can help make parenting your sweet little boy easier and help you decide what advice you take. I hope that those of you listening to this talk can also use this information. So you're responsible for helping your baby become a productive and confident member of society. How on earth do you do that? You use your heart to build his brain. You see, babies' brains, they develop through our interactions with our caregivers. Babies' brains are formed when they are born, but most of the wiring between the different parts of the brain actually happens after birth. And when I say wiring, it's just like the electrical wiring in your house. You got to get the wires from point A to point B and connect them to get a light to turn on. In a house, we physically take the wires from point A to point B by carrying them there. In a baby, we do it by interacting with them and responding to their needs. So how do you create the positive brain wiring? I'm going to talk about 3 really simple ways that might seem really intuitive to you, Bianca, but many people don't realize that these truly are key ingredients to healthy brain development. These simple but powerful strategies include holding your baby, talking with him, and observing him so you understand his needs and how to respond to them. Let's just think about you holding him. Did you know that when we hold our babies, we help regulate their breathing, temperature, heart rate, digestion, and even their crying? Some people think that babies cry just to aggravate them or because they're spoiled. But the reality is that babies don't have a lot of control over their crying in the early months. Their calm down system in their brain doesn't begin to come online until after they are 1 year old. So when we hold our babies when they cry, and get ready, Bianca and Eric, some babies cry a lot. We help to calm them down. With our support, they begin to develop their own abilities to calm themselves as these positive connections are formed in their brains. So holding him is the first point. The second key point for developing your baby's brain is talking with him while he's in your arms. When you're just talking with him, having conversation about what he might be saying when he's having his coos and his gurgles, soothing him when he's fussing, singing stories, sharing songs. He's having lots of feel-good sensations and positive hormones that are being secreted. His brain is just exploding with activity because he hears you, sees you, smells you, and he feels you. The brain cells that are responsible for these senses are in different parts of the brain, but they're all being fired at the same time. Neurons that fire together a lot end up wiring together. And the more these feel-good neurons fire together, the stronger the connections become, like a well-worn hiking path. These positive connections become the go-to center in the baby's brain. So talking with him is the second key point. My third key point is also very simple. Get to know your baby and his body signs, and then respond accordingly. Some babies are easier to figure out than other babies, But keep watching and observing and try different things until you figure out what works for him. Do you know, there are things that are actually no-nos when it comes to positive brain development. Bianca, you remember when we went to Haiti. We were there for me to implement training and research in an orphanage. When we arrived, the caregivers knew little about child development, and they hardly ever interacted with the babies. We'd never seen babies who just couldn't handle interacting with people. Here's a short video so you can all see what I'm talking about. Now, what was happening in Cassandra's brain is the exact opposite of what we want to have happen. You can see how she becomes overwhelmed by having somebody try to interact with her because she wasn't used to it. If you could look at her brain, what you would see is lots of the stress hormone, cortisol, being secreted, but not much else in terms of brain activity. When babies are stressed and crying, their ability to learn stops because their brain just focuses on the stressor. Repeated stress in a baby's brain ends up damaging the brain, and it affects their ability to learn, pay attention, remember, and even trust others later on. Because Cassandra had had few satisfying interactions, what was happening for her was that the feel bad areas of her brain were being stimulated over and over again. Like I said earlier, the neurons that fire together wire together. So that had become the go-to center in her brain. That path was very well worn. Here's Cassandra almost a month later, after having interactions with caregivers who were learning to respond based on her needs. Her reaction's a little different, like her wiring might be changing, right? Luckily, babies' brains are easily moldable. But it gets harder the older they get. It's a lot easier to do it right the first time. So the bottom line is this: how wired a baby's brain becomes depends on their interactions with the important people in their lives. So Bianca and Eric, if I have any advice for you, I would say, observe your baby to figure out what he's saying to you and respond based on his needs. Some babies are easier to figure out than other babies. And like all of us, every baby is unique and has different needs. But by responding consistently and appropriately, you're wiring his brain to be successful in school and life later on. When you're holding him in your arms, talking with him, you are creating his brain so that it's ready to stand up to the storms that life will unfortunately bring him. Remember, the neurons that fire together wire together. So Bianca and Eric, and the rest of you, good luck as you begin your journey down the windy parenting road. There are lots of directions you can take, but be sure to remember to parent with your heart so you can build your baby's brain. Thank you.